Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in once again to another episode of Ralston Speaks, brought to you by the UNIFIC Brotherhood. Ladies and gentlemen, Donald Trump has officially lost the election. Whether he chooses to leave office voluntarily or he's going to have to be forced out, that remains to be seen. I've had several comments over the past few days during my own personal one-on-one protests and displays of certain shirts around truck stops across the country. And the main question that I've been asked is, it's over. Why don't you calm down and forget about it? Well, the calming down and forgetting about it is out of the question. Why, you ask? Well, because Donald Trump gave certain members of our society free rein to speak words and to behave in ways that were already in their hearts, was already in their minds. He just gave them a voice to speak with. Now, that says to me that these people were out there to begin with.
Thank you, sir.
Didn't have the courage to speak their mind until they had a catalyst in Donald J. Trump. And these people aren't going to forget about their beliefs, their core values, their prejudice, and their racism. They're going to be waiting in the background for another opportunity to strike. And as a matter of fact, certain few of them have been sneaking out of the back alleys, the trailer parks, wherever they might live, the mountains and the hills, and carrying out lynchings. Some of them masked as suicides or drug deals gone bad. As an African American male, it's my responsibility to defend myself, my family, my people, and my culture. The society that has been quietly sitting in the background waiting for our demise, for whatever reason that I can only explain as just being black, has been the basis of how this country was founded. We came here, they came to this country. They would not have survived without the help of the Native Americans. The Native Americans helped them to survive, and in return, they faced genocide, mass murder, diseases, and segregation on reservations. Where are our Native American brothers and sisters today? Still living on reservations. They were thrown a couple of bones in the form of casinos, but we've spoken about that in past videos as to who actually benefits from the money those casinos have brought in. So I want to focus this video on why it is that we cannot stop our protests, stop speaking out, and stop. We can never stop fighting for equality. Equality is a word that we may never see because there is a fear of our success. Of all the people that this race that I'm speaking to has subjugated in the past and destroyed, we are the ones who are most resilient. We have fought segregation, being forced to drink out of separate water fountains, eat in different parts of a restaurant if we were allowed into the restaurant to begin with. Sit on the back of the bus. Laws were passed to give us jobs, which still is a little unbalanced, but laws were passed to give us jobs, and our progress was slowed, and we had road bumps and hiccups along the way, but we have persevered as a race, as a culture, and as a people, and that is to be feared. Why it is that the resistance is so fearful of our success, that's for them to answer. We can only guess. We can only guess. Maybe it's fear of our retribution. However, mainly, I think that it's fear that the hierarchy on the planet will come to an end. This ego, this white supremacy, the perfect word, white supremacy, will be no more. They are already approaching minority levels in some areas of our country. Joe Biden has been voted into office using fair voting, exercising the rights of the American people to vote. It proved that some of our systems still work. However, when the same thing happened when Donald Trump, in my belief, was falsely elected to begin with, and the same accusations were brought up, the GOP told those of us, listen, you lost, shut up and get over it. So what I say to Donald J. Trump today, shut up, you lost, get over it. To my people, I say we will never lose. We have to keep fighting. We have to get stronger together as a cohesive force. And on that subject, the UNIFIC Brotherhood is taking recruitment stronger than ever. We need strong warriors, men and women, to defend our communities and our neighbors from these cowards that are creeping out of the darkness and lynching our brothers and sisters. We need to legislate Congress, the Senate, Capitol Hill, to revamp the police force. It is our idea in the UNIFIC Brotherhood that communities should be policed by the people that they represent. What do I mean by that? If you are residing in a predominantly Asian community, your police force should be dominantly Asian. Hispanic community the same, and African American community the same. In the court, we are supposed to be tried by a jury of our peers, and if it's not a jury of our peers, that jury should be excused and a new jury ushered in. Why does it not apply to our police force? We of the UNIFIC Brotherhood believe that a culture is best policed by that culture in accordance with the law. The law was written for all people, so it's the people that should administer the law, the people that represent that neighborhood. Let us not go quietly into this good night that Joe Biden is about to usher for us. Let us not go quietly. We need to keep our voices raised. We need to keep our opinions heard and our plight felt. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, our battle is not over. The war is not over. We have won a significant battle, but the war is not over. And yes, we are at war. Do you know that the birth rate of African American infants is three times higher than that of a Caucasian baby? You know, that tells me if there are racists in the police force and there are Karens in every neighborhood, so what makes you think that because a man or a woman took the Hippocratic Oath that they are able to quell their prejudice, their racism against a certain race, individual, a man or a woman in their care? It's almost impossible. Yes, there are partial doctors, just as there are partial police officers, impartial lawyers, and impartial store clerks. However, whereas you can find a racist store clerk and you might be able to deal with it, call someone above his or her head in the subject of a racist doctor or dentist or surgeon, would you want to take that chance? There are ideas amongst our community on how to revamp the police force. One of the ones would be to have a longer academy. The physical portion is important, yes. However, the mental and the psychological portion should be elongated. It should be stretched out. It shouldn't take you longer to be a beautician or hairstylist or barber than it does to be a law enforcement officer. That's ridiculous. These people potentially have the power of life or death over another individual, and that decision can take a split second. How is it that a decision over life or death, which could change in life or death in a split second, be turned over to an individual with under 3 months training? That is the first discrepancy that we need to address. The second, like I said before, is the people should police themselves according to their demographic population. When an individual is stopped, pulled over by a member of law enforcement, the tension level in his life, in his day, automatically rises 75%. Now, if this person is pulled over, he sits in his car, and he's approached on the driver's side by an individual of his own culture, that stress level diminishes drastically. If that person that speaks to him when he rolls down his or her window speaks his language, the stress level goes down even more. You speak his language, you know his or her culture, the potential for a violent or potentially deadly conversation or an encounter could be virtually eliminated. Why has no one thought of that before? I can't possibly be the first one that's thought of that. I'm sure it's been thought of before. Why hasn't it been implemented? Once again, the hierarchy, the white supremacy that we face on a day-to-day basis has prevented that. The control that they want over every culture except for their own is astronomical. Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned for future videos because the UNIFIC Brotherhood in Ralston Speaks is far from finished. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been a short video. I just wanted to prepare you for future days and broadcasts to come. Thank you, America, for your votes. We have made a giant step for man and a giant leap for mankind, womankind, and democracy. The battle, we won an important battle, but the war is not over. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening.